Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. I already coughed. So that's going to stay in there. But welcome, everybody, to the top 25 albums of 2016. By the way, my name is Brian. And welcome to another low-grade video. And we're, again, doing a second list. This is exciting. Excitement. Obviously, like I said in the previous video, I will be letting people know what's going on in the new year. But for now, I thought I'd return and do some videos about like lists and shit, because I'm excited. It's been a really great year, I think. Now, there are motherfuckers like Run the Jewels that just want to release their album at Christmas, so fuck up my list. So great. But obviously, I don't really know if I'm going to just discontinue their album or consider it a 2017 album or whatever. It's disappointing because it hurts a lot, because now it's like, great, I'm doing this list and I still have to get to it. But whatever. Now, here's the thing. I didn't listen to every album. I tried to. And I know there's certain albums on this list you might kind of roll your eyes at. But you know what? These are the records I listened to and I loved. And I personally just could not put together a better list. And these are the records I kept going back to. And, I think it's a really nice, eclectic list. If you have your list, please leave it in the comments below. I'd love to read them and talk about them. So, without any further ado... Let's get started with number 25, which is already going to get people clicking off this video. But California by Blink-182. Sorry, I like the record a lot. I don't know what it was about it. I think there are still songs on it and ideas about it that make me groan and roll my eyes. But I still think it was a great, mainstream pop punk record. And I think it was a nice return for the group. Number 24, we got Bottomless Pit by Death Grips. Experimental hip-hop group. Great return once again. Every year it seems like we're getting an album, and I think there were some really good songs on this album as well, like Warping and whatnot, and again, just great. 23, The Color in Anything, James Blake. The Color in Anything by James Blake. Singer-songwriter, and I think he went down a lot of different directions, and I think he mostly pulled it off, and it's a beautiful record, and I love it very much. Number 22, we got Still Brazy by West Coast's own YG. Yeah, I like this record like most people, and, it's classic West Coast, and it was a great put-together record, and, I didn't really listen to YG that much before, but it wasn't out of ignorance. I just never really listened to him, but I really like this record, so good job. 21, I got The Life of Pablo by Kanye West. I kept going back to it. That's all I really have to say about that. I don't know why, but I just kept going back to it, so I think it deserves a spot somewhere. Number 20, we got DNCE, self-titled by DNCE. Great mainstream pop record. I was so excited for this. I loved all the singles that were releasing. Cake by the Ocean I love. Toothbrush I thought was cute and fun. Body Moves I thought was great. And so to hear this record in full form, there are maybe one or two kind of slight weak moments, but overall I thought it was great. 19, 22 A Million by Bon Iver. More experimental sort of folk music, but I think, it was beautiful, and Bon Iver did some really big risks, but I think he mostly pulled them off, so I congratulate him. 18 is Worry by, once again, Paw Prints, Jeff Rosenstock. Again, loved his last record, and I think this record is obviously so different in the way it's designed by the short tracks and the way the album flows, but it was great. Like, it just was so different than what I was expecting, and I think he pulled it off really well. 17, The Impossible Kid by A$AP Rock. Again, nothing really much to say. I think it's a really well-produced record. It's a very, thinky record. Obviously, A$AP Rock is that type of rapper, and, when I finally got around to it, I was just really enthralled, because I think he's a perfect rapper that you can listen to, but then you really need to sort of listen to the lyrics, and I really enjoyed myself within. It was a great experience, to be honest. At number 16, we got Untitled Unmastered by Kendrick Lamar. The only reason why I put this on here is because I still went back to it, and I think it was a great compilation record. And, we still got a Kendrick Lamar album. And, I think I said in my singles video where I think TDE let me down. And the fact that the B-Sides album by Kendrick was my favorite TDE project this year was kind of insane. So, at number 15, we got Awaken My Love by Childish Gambino. Gambino never disappoints in my book, for the most part. And I think this record was fantastic. His switch up to R&B was kind of expected, but not in the way that was like Anderson .Paak or these kind of newer artists bringing it back, so I was very impressed by it. 14 is My Woman by Angel Olsen. I was trying to get into so many of these women singer-songwriters this year, whether it was the heavier rock or the weird experimental or the quirky or the dark and heavy. Angel Olsen was my gal. She was great. I love this record. So good. I love her voice. I love her lyrics. And I love just the music. It's great. 13 is How to Be a Human Being by Glass Animals. Bubbly record. I thought really colorful record, and I thought the lyrics were great as well. I think the only thing that was missing was kind of the vocals. I think the vocals are fine, but I feel like there needed to be more distinction. So other than that, good job, Glass Animals. At number 12, we got the return of experimental hip-hop collective Clipping with Splendor and Misery, the sort of conceptual album about space and all that. And I was very much looking forward to this record, and I was not disappointed, and it goes into so many directions and places, and it's just so weird, and it's so well put together, mainly because of David's probably, stage roots from being on Hamilton, so it was great. It was pulled off very well. At number 11, we got A Moon-Shaped Pool by Radiohead. I don't really think this is a record I need to go too much into. I think it's very obvious. I think Radiohead returned with a great record and some very great highlights on it. Obviously, Burn the Witch, Daydreaming, etc., etc. And it was great when it was finally announced, and it's definitely still a very interesting record to constantly listen to, and it's growing on me a little bit, so I like it very much. Top 10 time, number 10, we got Atrocity Exhibition, oh my goodness, sorry, by Danny Brown. Oh my fucking god, this album was just too much, and I think that's all I really have to say on the matter. Hip-hop kind of let me down this year, and I think when this album came out, I was very much like, okay, no, we're back, and the experimentation on this record was just crazy, and just Danny just did such a damn good job, so bravo to you, sir. Number 9, I was going to say 19, but then I kind of said 9 wrong. Weird. I'm really tired, guys. And number 9, we got the self-titled and final record from Yellowcard. I love this record. I think it was a well-done record, and I think Ryan and company did a phenomenal job ending the band right, and, I feel like there's obviously little things here and there, but the evolution from Lift the Sail was so great, and I was very much looking forward to this record for many reasons and for obvious reasons, but it's glad to see that they ended on a high note, so thank you very much, Yellowcard. Thank you. At number 8, we got It From Here. Thank you for your service by A Tribe Called Quest, classic East Coast rap collective. Phife Dawg obviously passed away earlier this year, so rest in peace to him. This was a surprise. It kind of came out of nowhere, and I just listened to it. And obviously I didn't listen to it just once, but the first listen I said, I think I actually have a new favorite hip-hop album this year. Sorry, Danny. But Space Program, the second that song started, I instantly knew this record was just going to be fantastic. And guess what? It did. And I think there's really nothing else you can really say. But I think the fact that they came back after all this time and did this is saying something. So, good job. 7 is a group I mentioned in the last video. Their first record was sort of a solid singles record with some okay B-sides. Their second record was very disappointing in my eyes, but I think they found their sound on their third, Home of the Strange, Young the Giant. Great conceptual story, and I love the sound as well. I think the group finally found what they had, and I think this record overall was fantastic, and it's been a while for them to get here, and I'm glad they did, so good job. Number 6, we got Stage 4 by, once again, I'm going to probably screw the name up, by Touché, Amoré. I'm not into groups like this, obviously, but when I was hearing things about it, I said, you know what, give me a chance. So I did, and I was so emotionally invested. I thought the vocals were emotional as fuck, and the music was great, and I was invested every second, and it's a very hard album to swallow too, because I think with the type of music, with the subject matter is so emotional, and I think it was just beautiful, but just so insane, and I'm definitely going to be a fan of this group for a long time, because this record's great. Number 5, we got the pop punk group Pup with The Dream Is Over. Once again, once I heard about this group, I had to listen to them in nonstop. Listen to this record. If Can't Win was a single, that would have been my favorite song of the year. I love it. I think this record is pretty much almost perfection. I think it's fantastic. I love the vocals. I love just the kick-ass attitude, and it's very obvious they come from the Jeff Rosenstock camp. So great job, Pup. You guys made a great album. Number 4 was the return of the man and the myth and the legend who did not die. He was just kind of hiding, probably. Blonde, Frank Ocean. I love this record as much as the hype did. On first listen, I didn't get underwhelmed, but I kind of knew the type of record I was listening to only a few tracks in, and by the end of it, I was just emotionally just shook, and I had to just let it sit, and as it kept listening to it, it just became a new album every single time, and it's incredible. And it's great that he took this long and he went in such a different direction. Instead of the bigness and the grandness, this album works beautifully on the more melancholy and this quiet, because I think if you really look, I don't think it's that boring. It's just you have to really look for the little things, and it's fantastic. Number 3, once again, I mentioned this group in the singles video, but it's Preoccupations with their self-titled record, Preoccupations. I did not really like the Viet Cong record. I just was whatever with it, but when I started hearing people talk about this one, I'm like, I'll give this one a chance. And first listen, instantly knew it was going to be somewhere in my top 5. I love the sort of weird idea of the experimental idea of it, and just the droniness too. Like, I just love the sound, completely different from what Viet Cong did when they were Viet Cong. And I just love this so much. So, it's just fantastic. So, good job. Number 2 is probably the album I've probably listened to, one of the most listened to albums this year. The White Album by Weezer, or Weezer by Weezer. I think all I can really say is that pretty much every track on here I can listen to nonstop. I think it's a fantastically written pop rock album. I think the band sounds fantastic again. And I just think that, they obviously kind of built from their last record back in 2014, and that they were going to get to someplace great, and they got here, and it's just fucking fantastic. So good job, Weezer. Number 1, though, I think is obvious. Now, here's the thing. Like I said, I didn't listen to every album this year, so sorry to the Knowles sisters. They probably had great records, and it seems like they are great, but I could not get to them in time. But I think there's obviously one record this year that could already be guessed. You have those records that you listen to after big things because of changes in life, and this was sort of a record that caught me off guard somewhat because I didn't have the chance to pre-hear it before the whole reasoning behind the album. But, people can easily say, well, it's your number 1 because, for the reason of it, right? But, honestly, I don't think since Death Grips have I listened to something so experimental and catchy and well-written. Well, I know people might say with Death Grips, they'll say, well, what are you talking about with that? Then this record, though, and it's hefty, and it goes to many different places, but I think it's honestly one of the more kind of eerie listens I've had this year, and I think that this is just a fantastic record, and I think it is a swan song for this man and the tragic death of this man, but we have this final album to play, and it's a beautiful one, and that is Black Star by Mr. David Bowie. Fantastic record. So yeah, that is my top 25 albums of the year, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave your albums that you loved in the comments below. I'd love to see them. And we got one more list. Once again, like I said in this video, in the past video, I'm kind of done teasing. I'm going to probably have a video in the next year, or in the new year, excuse me. And you can kind of get more explanations on it. But like I said, I want to do some lists, want to get some videos out. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed me talking about some of my favorite albums of the year. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you guys soon. My name is Brian. Peace out, guys.